and welcome back to all of my regular subscribers, and welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master, spiritual coach, and an intuitive tarot card reader. And through the work I'm doing here on YouTube, as well as my website, odessamall.com, I hope to deliver messages to you that will help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. Today's topic is really interesting. I'm going to be looking at where you guys are going to be in 5 years versus your karmic. So I've got 3 piles for you guys to select from. Pile number 1 is partnered with this little spell jar. Now this one is for protection, but spell jars can be used to craft any kind of magic in your life. They're a really easy and accessible way to craft magic. And pile number 2 is partnered with my pendulum. This is clear quartz. A pendulum is used as a divination tool, typically to get yes or no answers. That's how I use mine. But you can use a pendulum to get more detailed information if you use it with a letter board. And pile number 3 is partnered with my little incense burner. This actually belonged to my dad who's passed away, so it means a lot to me. I use it with cone incense, and this cone incense for me is just the easiest way to quickly clear negative or low vibrational energy from my decks when I'm working with them. So I will give you guys a second to select your pile, and I will see you in a moment. Hi, pile number 1. Okay, welcome back. I've got your spell jar. I'll just put that right there. And I've got 2 piles of cards here. This first pile is going to tell me where you are going to be in 5 years. And this pile is going to tell me where your karmic is going to be in 5 years. So let's start with you. You got the card Health. You got the card, the High Priestess. And True Love. Oh my God. Okay, so this is super exciting. And I see so many repeating images in these cards. So over the course of the next 5 years, you are going to be going through a journey of self-love that's going to lead you to a balanced partnership of true love with a true divine counterpart. You know, someone who you can really have a partnership with. But in order for you to get to the place where you are ready to meet that person, you're going to have to heal some of your own trauma. And that's exactly what you're going to be doing. First of all, the High Priestess is the most psychically in tune of all of the characters in the tarot. She is able to receive messages beyond the veil through all of her senses. She's entirely in tune also with the energy of the earth, all of the energies that are around her. And this particular High Priestess is also sitting underneath the moon, and the moon is a symbol of divine feminine. It is also a symbol of intuition, and it's also a symbol of the shadow self. Now in this card, the health card, obviously this is talking about you having good health. So you might be going through a glow up, really tuning into what makes you feel beautiful and actively pursuing that, bringing that into your life, whether that is like preparing different types of meals for yourself, being more active, changing your clothes, just being kind to yourself, you know, nurturing and like loving yourself. But this card also has this beautiful Egyptian figure on it as well. And these water bearers are pouring water into her crown chakra, which again is a symbol of getting intuitive messages. To me, because she is definitely a member of either the royal family, as far as like what she's wearing, or she's a very well-to-do person. This would be the equivalent of the high priestess. And above her is the sun, and the sun is a symbol of the divine masculine, and us, you know, being in tune with our action-oriented, driven energy. And there is this portal, like doorway shape here with the two sun emblems on either side. And then this card, there's the portal with the two lamps on either side matching. And then with the true love card, we have a figure looking at her own reflection lovingly, and again, another portal. So this truly is the same message sort of like repeated throughout, and it's talking about balance and alignment and knowing who you are. The number 4 on this card is talking about foundations. The number 6 is also talking about balance in all areas. The number 6, I associate with the 6-pointed star, commonly known as the Star of David, which has 2 alchemical symbols superimposed on top of each other, and they are opposites, fire and water, equal but opposite, coming together in unity. And there's a 6 on here, and then there's the number 11 on the High Priestess card, which is a master number, and it is also talking about us being in alignment with our soul's purpose. That's the journey you're on in the next 5 years, which is incredible. Now, you might not feel like you're even close to being in this energy yet, but like you're being guided down this road, you know? You probably don't know exactly how you're going to end up in this energy, how you're going to heal. Like the energy that I'm getting is that you're heartbroken because of the karmic, possibly distrustful of relationships, and you are in a way still longing for this person. There's an element of like what I would refer to as trauma bonding, that the energy, like, because I'm getting that energy here, the expression on her face. Trauma bonding is a result of intermittent reinforcing. When somebody is cruel to you and then they're kind to you, and then they're cruel to you and then they're kind to you. It's actually something that good cop, bad cop, that's the same dynamic. It actually has a chemical effect on your brain that causes an addiction to that engagement and thus that other person. And so there's a certain amount of longing that's coming through with these cards, but you're going to be healed from all of that. You're going to be going through a process of doing more self-care. I truly get a lot more self-care, and it's about you seeing your own beauty and your own strength and how powerful you are. You are the High Priestess. You just don't recognize that in yourself yet. You are this powerful, psychically attuned individual. You have gifts that you're bringing from other lives. Like, I believe in reincarnation. So I truly believe that we are infinite beings. We never die. We just live lifetime upon lifetime learning and growing. And these kind of like karmic situations are an opportunity for us to learn new lessons, right? So that is what you're going to be doing in the next 5 years. And you're going to be gaining so much knowledge. She's sitting here reading a book. And again, the water bearer with that knowledge coming down. I think you're not only just going to be learning about yourself, right? And how to be in a balanced relationship. But there's more to that. Like, you're going to be learning about like gaining new knowledge about possibly your career or gaining new hobbies. Like it's not just love related information that you're going to be learning. The whole world is going to open up to you. You're going to like blossom. It's going to be like a totally new version of you. So let's see where your karmic is going to be in 5 years. Okay. They got planning and action, 2 of Wands, and seduction. Okay. So, well, they are going to still be in the same karmic loop, learning the same lesson, going over and over and over and over the same issues. So the Two of Wands is talking about looking towards the future. They are definitely looking towards the future, but they're always looking towards the future. That's the problem with these people. This karmic and individuals that are in this same particular special combination of trauma and shadow are always, it's like the grass is always greener. They're always like, they have FOMO. They are constantly worried that they are gonna miss out on an opportunity, or they're gonna miss out on like a better looking partner, or a more successful looking partner, or a richer partner, like all of these like superficial things. And they are always in pain because they're constantly wearing this false mask. This individual has two faces. I think that your ex was never honest about who they were, and I think you saw that. I think that you saw when you were out with them and you were around different people that they would sort of change their behavior depending on who they were with. You know, so they'd be one way with their family and another way with this group of friends, and then this group of friends gets another person, and then their coworkers gets a totally different person, and then you get the worst of it all because they're always the worst and the most shady behind closed doors. And I think that this person possibly put you in third-party situations, and they're going to continue to do that because this seduction card is number 12, which reduces down to the number 3, and then the Two of Wands to partnership with 3, and then the energy card is also number 2. So their main lesson is still learning how to love themselves and not be codependent, because, you know, they might have been the runner is what I'm getting. You know, like there's the runner-chaser dynamics typically in these kinds of relationships. I get the energy that they were definitely the runner, and they are just running away from themselves ultimately. You know, they're going to have a tower moment at some point where they meet up with someone who, like, a real big dog. You know, like this would fall to me into the narcissism spectrum. Like I wouldn't necessarily classify them as a narcissist at this point. It's a spectrum, right? There's like the people that are just really toxic and shady, and with therapy and work and an ownership of their own lives and taking responsibility, they can move beyond that. And then at the far end of the spectrum is like the sociopaths that no matter what we do, they're never going to get better, and they just need to be contained, to be perfectly honest. You know, like sociopaths are like the serial killers of the world. So, I don't think that your ex is like that. I do think that they have a lot of trauma and a lot of toxic traits, and they make really bad decisions. They're constantly succumbing to temptation, right? There's Eve holding the apple on this card. They just can't seem to stop themselves. And it's because they're looking for validation and a feeling of wholeness outside of themselves. They're constantly looking for, like, I think they're really into their appearance, right? Like they probably, you know, take extra care of themselves. Like if they're a guy or they identify as a man, they might like be totally cut and buff and they need to be bulked up. And if they're a woman, they might equally be like making sure that they are completely like the epitome of what is like commercially attractive. And they have all of these expensive clothes that they might not even be able to afford. And they like, they paint themselves as like super successful when in reality they might not be as successful, or they like, you know, will craft a job title to make themselves sound like they have this amazing career, and really it's just like, it's all in the title, that, you know, like, it's just a figment of their imagination. None of this is real, including the relationships that they're having. But they just continue to just plan and move forward, you know, being strategic, trying to find ways to get what they want. And they're just like looking for riches, these grapes on the top of this archway, or talking about abundance and like material wealth. That's what they're all about. They just want the key to power and glory. That's what they want. And they're going to continue down that road, and then they're going to be faced with a narcissist or some person that's on the spectrum that is more sick than they are, that's better at this game, that's going to burn them. And then they're going to be, you know, going through their own tower moment where they have to awaken. But it's not going to be in the next 5 years for them. I'm getting 15. You're going to be like well situated in your new life with your beautiful new partner that is like the complete package. By the time this person even thinks about starting to change anything, you know? And they're gonna go through, I'm seeing a roller coaster in my mind. It's not gonna be like a linear, like, okay, I need to change. I know that I'm creating toxicity in my own life. They're going to like be in denial about it, you know? Like, cause I feel like there's more than one battle here. It's not just their ego that they're battling. They're also battling like addictions. Like I was saying before, like there could be like sex addictions. There could be alcohol addictions. There could be addictions to like just like shopping, going to the gym, all kinds of things. And I think that they have to break just the toxic traits too. Like they have programmed themselves to auto response to things in a toxic way, which is going to require a lot of therapy. A lot of therapy. So let's get a couple more cards to sort of like nail down where you're going to be versus where your karmic ex is going to be in the next 5 years. So where is pile number 1 going to be in the next 5 years? Your closure. That says it all, right? You're going to have closure over all of this. You're going to be, wherever you are in your feelings right now, if you're feeling like you're never going to get over this person, I promise you, not only will you get over this person because you're going to have complete closure, but you're going to not ever even think about them. It's like, it'll be that kind of closure where you close the door and it's like you occasionally, you know, you'll run across a photo, you know, of them, or you see a post that a mutual friend makes and they happen to be in the post or in the photo or something. And you're like, what did I ever see in them? You know, like, what? You won't feel angry at yourself about it. You know, you'll have made peace. You'll understand why it all happened, right? All of the pieces, all the learning will already be done by that point, so that you can just have total peace with it, because you completely accept the fact that these are opportunities for us to learn and grow so that we can actually have true fulfillment. And, you know, for some of you, you'll get closure because this person will actually have started the healing process. And like, for some of you, it might be like they were alcoholics and they had to go to AA and they have to like actually like make their, you know, they have to like go and approach every person that they wronged and tell them that they are remorseful. You know, that's part of the AA program. That might happen, but it could also be that, you just see that they're still in the same cycle and that gives you the closure. But it might not be like that. It might just be like energetically in your own heart and mind, a door closes and you're okay with it. And where will the karmic for pile 1 be in 5 years? What will the karmic be? Okay, here we go. Yeah, they are going to be reminiscing about home, trying to find their way back to a sense of home and peace, trying to find grounding. In this case, they might actually be home. You know, like if this person in 5 years does end up having some sort of reckoning in their life, they might be in a situation where they are isolated from people. Like they might end up in a toxic relationship with someone who ends up controlling them versus what was happening where they were trying to control you. And they are literally isolated in their home. For some reason, something about house arrest is coming in. This person might actually have legal issues where they end up being placed under house arrest, you know, like something about tax fraud is coming forward, which would not surprise me with the energy that I'm getting from this karmic. But regardless, they're going to be working towards having a sense of home, which they definitely don't have at all right now. Okay, so let me get some final words of advice for you guys. What would you like pile number 1 to know about this situation? Okay, you got the elements. The element of fire, air, earth, and water combine to create powerful protective boundaries, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. Yes, that is like what I was talking about with the 6-pointed star. And to illustrate the point, I was mentioning that it's 2 alchemical symbols. In reality, it's all of the alchemical symbols together, all of the opposing forces coming together. And that's what this card is also talking about, all of the elements, you know, and that's also the duality here of the moon and the sun. Then you got dragonfly. You bring light to the world. Yes, you'll be in a place, like I was saying before, where you're in alignment with what your soul's calling, your true purpose is. It'll be different for all of you. And you will be working towards that. You're going to be shining your light. And I think this person was intimidated by your power, your beauty, your strength, your intelligence, your caring, your empathetic nature, your sense of humor, your inventiveness, your natural style, and your sex appeal. And they wanted to shut that down. They wanted to basically hide you away. And they didn't want to allow you to shine because they felt like if you're shining, then they are nothing next to you, right? They want to be the star. We're not realizing that, you know, you being a star in your own life doesn't take anything away from them, right? We're all the main characters in the story of our lives. So just shine your light. You know, there's enough for everyone. Okay, so then let's find out what advice Spirit has for your karmic. What advice? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the card Perseverance came out. The motivation to keep going despite the odds. Yeah. This person, I think, has gone through, that's that roller coaster energy I was getting. This person gets discouraged. Things get hard emotionally, and they have to start looking at the past and remembering tragedies and trauma that happened, and they don't want to deal with it. So they just shut it down, and then they run off to the next vice or the next person that will take away that pain. And they need to persevere. They need to get stronger. They're weak. You know, in reality, no matter how strong they appear, they are emotionally weak. They are not able to deal with their own shit. And that is the reason why they're in this cycle. They treated you badly because you are strong and they are weak. That's the reality. Not because you are damaged or unworthy. And they also got the card air. Work with the element of air to cut through to the core of a situation and see the truth. Yeah, they're in a cloud. They do not, or in a fog. They don't see things clearly. They don't see their own actions as manipulative or toxic. They probably blamed you constantly for everything. Like, I wouldn't treat you this way if you didn't do that. Or if you didn't, nag me all the time, I wouldn't run off to somebody else. Like, just asinine arguments. Truly toxic. And they need to be honest with themselves. You're going to be honest with yourself. You probably already are. You probably already are looking at yourself and thinking, what did I do? And that's a great place to be, so you can channel that energy in a healthy way towards you really unearthing your own triggers and making yourself invisible, right? Because the things that upset us are oftentimes connected to our trauma. So it's kind of like they're like signposts. So you can watch those things and move towards them. Not because you're going to let somebody continue to trigger you, just so that you can really dive into it, release it, and become invincible. So you can just love harder, so you can shine brighter, so you can speak more truth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. This one was so interesting. If you did and it resonated, please hit the thumbs up. That's a big help to me. And if you know someone else that might be interested in it, you could always share it with them. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. I would love to have you as part of the family. We're growing all the time. And if anyone is interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and my booking information is listed there. So have a fabulous day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Hi, pile number 2. Okay, so I've got your pendulum. I'm just going to set that aside. And these 2 piles of cards are going to tell me where you are going to be. This is you versus where your karmic is going to be in 5 years. So let's start with you. You got appreciation, Ace of Wands, and the loving woman. Okay, so basically what I'm seeing here is that you are going to be in an entirely different place in your life in 5 years from now. You are going to feel extremely appreciated for everything that you do in your life. I think you're going to be in tune with the natural energy around you. You're going to be at a place where you are co-creating with the universe. You're manifesting the things that you want, everything that you wanted to achieve in this life based on what you have dreamed of. As well as what's written into your life plan is going to either be in full swing, or it's going to be like starting to gain momentum, right? Now, if it's at a point where it's just starting to gain momentum, that's typically because there's steps that you need to take before you sort of like start the next leg of your journey. And that could be something like completing school, right? Before you go off to like start your career, or moving to a new place, or having to sort of like do some of the internal work or the spiritual work, or, you know, some of the like discoveries that you need to have before you get to the point where you can sort of reap your harvest. But it's going to be a really, really happy journey, because this loving woman is a card that's talking about having everything that you need, all of your needs met, right? There, her skirt is splayed out, and she's got all of these fruit scattered across the top of her skirt, which is a symbol of abundance. Just like the appreciation card with the cornucopia, it's talking about abundance. And then there's this adorable little puppy. It could be a wolf. Could be a wolf. But it's sitting on her skirt, sleeping. So it's talking about being content and feeling safe. And although there might be things that you still need to work through before you get to like the payoff, it's going to be a really, really happy journey for you. And I think that you're going to be getting to a new place of self-appreciation and self-acceptance. And I'm getting strongly that there's an alignment with a life purpose or passion, right? Because the guitar, as well as, or this instrument, I'm not entirely sure what kind of instrument that is, but this woman is playing an instrument. And then this paintbrush here is also making me think about creative endeavors. It could be talking about writing a book, writing songs, painting pictures, playing an instrument, but it really feels like it's like you finding the courage to pursue a something that you're really, really passionate about. You know, this new beginning coming from that. And then there's a progression here because this is number 5 and then this is number 6. So, you know, you're working things through step by step, and I'm seeing someone like checking boxes on like a to-do list, you know, like, and you might actually really like doing that because that is being called out to me, that you like to cross things off of your list, right? Like you like to have sort of a set agenda. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And you like to go through it in that order. But I'm being told that that might have actually been a hiccup for you. Feeling like things had to be accomplished in a certain way led you down a pathway that sort of aligned you with a karmic. So let's see where your karmic is going to be in 5 years, and then I'll get an idea of who they are and their energies. So they got convention, interesting, Page of Wands, and deserving. Okay, so in 5 years, they are going to be working towards a new endeavor, finding their own sense of self-empowerment. The Page of Wands is an individual that is just starting to see things in a different light, look at themselves in a new way, to see opportunities where possibly they didn't see any before. And the deserving card really also highlights that. And so your karmic, the energy I'm getting from them is that either they had very strong self-limiting beliefs that kept them in a state of lack, or they had really reckless behavior that will end up causing them to possibly be even incarcerated. Because I can't ignore the fact that there is this building with this fence around it, as well as this person that's sort of trapped inside this box. So for some of you, you might actually, your karmic ex might actually end up going to jail or possibly rehab or something to that effect, to help them realize that they are deserving and to start seeing a way out. I am strongly getting the sense that your karmic definitely had some battles with possibly substance abuse, but definitely overindulgences and addictive behaviors. Whereas pile 1, their karmic was more of like a Romeo, you know, like love con man, that kind of energy. This feels like somebody who possibly has really struggled with a lot of trauma in the past. There could be issues with mental health issues. They are trapped inside their own mind. That's the energy that I'm getting. Like they don't see the opportunities around them. And I think that you were with them for a while, for some of you for a long time, trying to help them to see the abundance around them. Like there's bananas here. That's a symbol of abundance. All of these beautiful tulips, all these flowers, that's a symbol of abundance. All of these plants around this individual, while they're in this gray box, there's all these plants around. Again, symbols of abundance. And these fortresses, you know, let yourself out of the fortress. Let yourself out of this like construct that you've built for yourself and start to see where there are opportunities, and then just take steps towards those opportunities. I got the energy that it was like they would have an issue, a problem that they were working through, and you would say, okay, well, you could try this, and they would have some reason why they can't do that, and then you give them another option. No, I can't do that either. And it was basically just boiled down to the point where they were like, obviously they're not going to take any action on helping themselves to get out of this energy, you know? Like and every one of these karmics will have different limitations, you know? Some of their limitations are legitimate. I think that's how they ended up in this energy, where they were so seeing everything through such a pessimistic lens. I do think they have hardships. I do think that they've had trauma. But there is always an opportunity for us to rise above and to take steps forward to help ourselves. You know, it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to have the life that, you know, you had before, if it was like, say, an accident, or, you know, before you got sick. But you can still have a fulfilling, abundant life. You just have to come up with a new plan. What is that going to look like? They were looking at it as pessimistically, like, oh, well, I'll never have what I had already planned. But it's like, well, this is a new opportunity for you to think even bigger and dream up a whole different plan. And you finally came to a point, or possibly you're coming to a point, right? Because this is in 5 years from now. You're going to come to a point where you realize that you can't save this person, but you can destroy yourself trying, and you have to go towards your own abundance. Because ultimately, you might be able to help other people who are struggling with possibly similar like limitations, or possibly things that are more aligned with the things that you have struggled with, and they're ready to heal. They're ready to take these steps forward. This person won't be ready for 5 years, you know? And like going back to like if they end up, say, in a hospital, or they end up incarcerated, or they end up in rehab, that might be their, you know, breaking point, where that is finally what like flips a switch and they rise above it, right? Because that's the energy. They're going to get to a point where they start to see themselves as deserving, and they start sort of like charging forward. This is the Page of Wands is the energy of at least getting the idea, but this particular deck, this card is very action oriented. They are in movement. So it's a very positive energy for sure. Like this is very, very optimistic, positive, like encouraging. It's very encouraging for them. Okay, because I do think you really care about this person. And I think that that's partially what's tying you to them. That I think that you really care about them, you really want the best for them, but like they have to want it for themselves as well. So let's get some more cards. What can you tell me about where pile number 1 will be in 5 years? Where will pile number 1 be in 5 years? Yes, you just got the career card. Like I was saying before, like I feel like you're going to be at the precipice of you transitioning into like your true abundance, but it might take a little time because you probably are still in school. You're still completing your training or your residency, or, you know, or you're figuring out what your career is going to be, you know, like there's still a planning phase. There's still a growth phase. There's still a healing phase that's taking place over the next 5 years. But ultimately it ends in you being like totally happy and in a really abundant career where I think you're going to be able to see the conflict, the pain from the past in a different perspective and see it as challenges that helped you to grow, just like the tree. So what else can you tell me about where pile number 1 will be? And yes, empowerment. You're going to be completely empowered in who you are and what you bring to the table. You might have psychic abilities opened up to you. Oftentimes our gifts are there, and some of our strongest gifts can be sort of latent. It's like they're just dormant for a little while, and then all of a sudden you have an epiphany or you graduate from a lesson, like a karmic lesson, and then you get the rewards, and that's like your gifts heightened. That's what happened to me. You know, I've always had gifts my entire life, but I will be honest that they like increased like 500, 600% after I completed my last karmic cycle. You know, like it really is a major catalyst for change when it comes to opening you up to your true gifts. Because if you had access to those gifts when you're going through the karmic lessons, you wouldn't learn as much because you would be able to use those gifts to navigate around things that ultimately will serve you best by feeling the pain, right? So you have to live as human as possible. And then when you learn the lesson, then you get rewarded with the gifts, because that's when you're ready to go and help others. That's when you're ready to go and teach others. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to become a teacher. Some of you might be. But you'll be using your own experience within your career and your life to help inspire others in the way that, you know, fills your cup and makes you feel happy. Okay, so let's find out a little bit more about where pile number 2's karmic will be in 5 years. Where will pile number 2's karmic be in 5 years? What can you tell me about pile number 2's karmic? Okay. Yes. Oh, wild. Wild. So if you guys had any kind of like love triangle, so there was some sort of love addiction or toxic love in this dynamic, I'm specifically talking to those people, you might want to go back and listen to pile number 1 as well, because this card home also came out at exactly this moment in regards to the karmic and pile number 1. So I just thought I would point that out. Your karmic got inspiration and home. So that is talking about them finally getting some insight, right? The inspiration card is very much like the Page of Wands. They're finally getting insight into how they have crafted their own circumstances. How did they construct this home that they are currently residing in? You know, like if that means that they are in a situation where they end up in jail, or they end up, you know, confined in some way. What decisions did they make to bring them to that point? Or they end up alone, right? And they're isolated. What decisions did you make that brought you to this point? And what can you do to bring more happiness, joy, and abundance into your life? That's what these inspirations, these inspirational ideas will be directing and telling this karmic. You know, they're going to find ways, they're going to be given insight into their own lives so that they can create the foundation and home that they want. And that doesn't necessarily mean setting down roots. It could mean that they are, you know, nomadic and they're traveling everywhere, but at least that's authentic to themselves. Like really being truthful, because I get the energy here that this person is so afraid of being seen for who they are that they're hiding a lot. Now that could be that they're hiding their sexual identity, that they're hiding their gender identity, that they're hiding their substance abuse, they're hiding their health issues, they're hiding their phobias or their fears, you know, that they are afraid that people are going to see them as weak, or that they are hiding their emotions. Whatever it is, it's not serving them, and they are going to get to a point within 5 years where they're starting to, like the energy is starting to move forward, and they're starting to be able to get to a place where they can escape this energy. And you're going to be well on your way, like powering ahead, which is amazing. I do get the sense for some of you, you'll still be friends with this person. But if you are currently romantically connected, I don't think that it's going to be sustainable, because by doing that, you're both going to be blocking your growth and your manifestations. You'll know when the time is right, but I definitely feel like you're being encouraged to go your own way towards your new beginning, right? Okay, so let me get some final advice for you, pile number 2. Okay, let's see. You got little luxuries generates luxurious experiences and surroundings. Nice. And you got sun. The golden energy of the sun brings fame and fortune. Wow. Pile number 2. Well, whatever, this creative endeavor that I kept picking up on, you know, this art form that you want to indulge in, that you want to create, that you want to like possibly build your career around, is definitely going to bring you a lot of material abundance. You're going to have luxuries in your life. You're going to have a beautiful home. You're going to have beautiful clothing and all of the like finer things in life. And you're going to be bringing that towards you because of your innate inner light, your positivity. And I think that that's what gravitated this person to you, because they have an excess of darkness in them that they need to release. And so they were attracted to your light. You might identify as an empath, and you were healing them, but to the point where it ended up making you sick. And so that's where there has to be that severing, and they need to find their own light, right? They need to rely on their own light, not on the light of others. And you're going to understand that, release your own shadow energy, the shadow being connected to the element of the moon. And there's a moon energy here as well. So you're gonna have to release your feelings that you need to help someone at all costs, even if it destroys you. Because you don't. They have guides with them. They have ancestors with them watching over them. They will be okay. I promise you. And the more you think positively about not only your circumstances, but their circumstances, the more positive healing energy you're sending to them in a constructive way that will help them get to this place of their own healing sooner. You don't have to sacrifice yourself for them. And ultimately, you're supposed to rise up. Like for some of you, you're really, truly being called out here as possible leaders, you know, being famous and, you know, having fortune, you know, and I get the energy that you are going to be given that fortune because you're going to actually do something really ethical with it. You know, you're going to use that those finances. You're going to use those resources possibly to help other people that have gone through the trauma that you've gone through, or help people that possibly are even connected with the same kind of trauma or, you know, limitations that your karmic is battling with. So I hope that this reading resonated with you, pile number 2. If you liked it, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be a huge help. And please share it with someone you think might enjoy this. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. I would love to have you as part of the family. And if you're interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, please go to my website, odessamall.com, and you can see all of my services and all of my booking information there. So it was such a pleasure. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Hi, pile number 3. Okay, so I've got your cards here. I'm just gonna put the incense burner aside. So I've got 2 piles. This first pile is going to tell me where you're going to be in 5 years. And this pile is going to tell me where your karmic is going to be in 5 years. So let's start with you. You got enthusiasm, the Emperor, and family. Okay, so this is telling me that within 5 years, you are going to be stepping into a strong leadership position. Now, this could be in your career. This could also be in your family or your community group. This could also be talking about you taking control and ownership and authority of just who you are in this world, you know, really stepping into your power. This is an image of King Arthur pulling the sword from the stone, which was the moment where he became king. That's what signified that he was the rightful ruler. So there's going to be some sort of event that takes place. Something is going to happen in your life that really shifts things for you. Possibly it's, you know, it might even be something small, you know, like somebody says something to you, possibly critical and toxic, because oftentimes those can be huge catalysts to having epiphanies. And it's like a light bulb will go off and you're just going to have such clarity. And the reason I feel that way is because we have Mercury here. And Mercury is the messenger of the gods. It's talking about communication, getting inspiration or guidance through the spiritual realm. And it's going to be guidance that is connected to happiness and joy. There's the symbol for the sun here, and this is the enthusiasm card. It's also number 9. So that's talking about being close to the end of a cycle. And oh, whoa. And then the Emperor is also card number 4. So that's talking about foundations. So again, just another like confirmation of being strong and in your strength. And then the family card, like this could be talking about you actually setting down roots with another person and starting a family, expanding on your family, dedicating yourself more to your family. This card can also be talking about you getting in tune with your inner child. So, you know, it could go either way. Like you have to sort of like look within and see where your goals are aligned with that. Like if you are a person who has no plans to have a family, then it's most likely that this is talking about you aligning with your own inner child and doing the healing needed for you to be able to step into this power and like be happy and enthusiastic in your life. But if you've always wanted to start a family, there's a really good chance that you're going to meet somebody that you can have that partnership with, or you're going to decide to go it on your own. You know, there's like plenty of different ways that you can have a family. So this is very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So let's find out what's going on with your karmic over the next 5 years. So extremism, 8 of Cups, fragmented energy, and optimism. Okay, all right. So over the next 5 years, your karmic is going to, I just heard reckoning, is going to have a reckoning in their life. Your karmic is a person who is totally out of balance. They are not in tune with the divine feminine and the divine masculine nature of their own internal energy. They are battling those two energies. There is a man and a woman here, and the man and the woman are both struggling. They're each holding on to the opposite arm, and they're pulling each other back and forth. And this crow or this raven is a symbol of the shadow self. It can be talking about manifestation and magic as well. So this is, and there's the symbol for Scorpio here, which is also talking about intuition and psychic abilities. So your karmic is somebody who is deeply in their shadow, has a lot of vices, is what I'm getting, has had a lot of trauma, is a deeply emotional person, but I think that they completely cut themselves off from that. They've had so much trauma because at a young age, being a sensitive person, that trauma had such a devastating effect on them and made them feel so vulnerable that they just shut it out. They're never going to go back. They're never going to look at that. They're never going to like indulge in that. That is just weakness. And I get the energy that they just poured themselves into their physical world, their physical body, buying things that would impress others, like having a really nice car or a certain job or living in a certain area or having the right brands. But internally, they were always at war with themselves. And I think that because they had an internal war going on, they ended up having an external war with you. Because I think you saw that. You're both equally psychic individuals. And when I say that, it's like you're able to connect with your intuition, and it gives you insight into what steps you need to take forward in your life. And when you would try and connect with your karmic and try and point out to them different things that they might want to take a look at or adjust, you were spot on. You know, it was like lightning strikes. You were able to identify exactly what they needed to be working on. But there was no way they were ever going to agree with you or start to work on these things. They felt like you were being cruel and unkind for pointing those things out because it made them feel unsafe and vulnerable, that they felt like everyone could see their trauma. Like they felt like they were walking around through life with all of these missing puzzle pieces. And when you did that, I just wanted to say beat you into submission. Now, I don't know if that means, because I don't see that anything is an accident. Everything that I channel during these sessions is 100% being channeled from my guides. So there is the possibility that there was physical violence. Obviously, this card with this struggle going on also indicates that. But it could also just be that they wanted to knock you off your pedestal and they wanted to pressure you into submitting to them. And they might have used a number of different tactics to do that. Coercively trying to control you, and when coercive control didn't work, which meant like, you know, manipulating you by like withholding affection or intimacy, or not letting you know plans or like different activities that they were planning on participating in until the very last minute, so that you wouldn't be able to participate because you wouldn't be able to get a babysitter, or you wouldn't be able to get off work, or you wouldn't be able to like adjust your life to be able to participate. And then turning that around and then blaming you for never wanting to hang out with their friends. You know, like taking every step that they possibly could to make it impossible for you to have like an equal partnership, and then blaming you for it, and then gaslighting you. You know, like, because you are such a strong person. Like, this is who you are. You are the emperor. You are a strong, confident leader. And if you are a woman, if you identify as a divine feminine, and this karmic is a divine masculine, the battle that would be at play here with you being more dominant and strong and this person being more in their shadow, you know, them having a fear of truly stepping to their power would have made them feel emasculated, and they would have fought you on that. They would have fought you. And you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong at all. And over the next 5 years, they are going to slowly come to a place where they realize that they have to leave all of that behind. They have to leave behind all of these assumptions, all of this perception, this constructed self, you know, like this world that they've built around themselves. Because this is never going to bring them fulfillment and happiness. They need to release all of that and walk towards a new beginning. And they're not going to know where it's going, but it's going to bring them great abundance. And I have a feeling that this person is going to transition from a phase of their life where they're very materially based, where everything has to be about their job title and the people they hang out with and things that they own, to possibly, you know, completely like disconnecting from their old life and going and living in a rural area, like living on a farm, or like living somewhere in a very simple way. And it might not be forever. It might be part of their journey, going through the hermit mode, going into the shadow realm, into the parts of themselves that they reject, all of these holes, finding those missing puzzle pieces. That's their responsibility to do that. They've been telling you that it's your responsibility. And I think you stayed with them because either you have a family with them, or you wanted desperately to have a family and you felt like they were your last chance. And you're going to come to a point where you realize that there's never a last chance. There is never a last chance for something like this. When you want to be a parent, I don't care how old you are, there is never a last chance. There is always a way that you can do that, okay? So if that means that you aren't able to have your own biological children, that is okay. You can be an adoptive parent, and if that doesn't work out for you, you could be a foster parent, and if that doesn't work out for you, you can be a volunteer working with children, and if that doesn't work out for you, you can see if you can be more actively participating in your family, you know, extended family. You know, if you don't have any siblings that have kids, maybe you have cousins that have kids. You could potentially transfer some of that energy towards helping with rehabilitating animals, or having, you know, more animals. Like, I don't have any children of my own. I have 2 dogs. They are my children. And like, in a lot of ways, you know, like their personalities, they are like little, like babies, you know? Like, there's a lot of different ways you can do, you know, fulfill this role in your life, that you could do this, you could play this out. You don't have to be with somebody who is toxic because you think that you're getting too old and the clock is ticking. Because you have a unique life plan, and your life plan is definitely including a family. It's including a family. So don't think for a second that you have to stay with this person to fulfill this, because if you release them, this still has to come to pass. This still has to come to fruition. because it's written into your life plan. And you're going to be a leader. And maybe you are going to be a leader where you find some unique, different way of approaching this family dynamic. And you end up being a champion and a leader, and you help other people that are having the same struggle to be able to make this a reality in their life. You know, like whatever the dynamic is. But I just wanted to say that now because that was coming forward. But let's definitely get some more cards and see, get some more information about where you guys are going to be in 5 years. Where's pile number 3 going to be in 5 years? Where's pile number 3 going to be in 5 years? Okay. Woo! Okay, I'll keep the ones that are flipped up. Okay, oh my God. Yes, you are going to be in a beautiful, loving relationship. One that has boundaries. You got commitment, you got love, you got friendship, you got boundaries, you got reconciliation, and you got answers. So this is telling me that there could potentially be somebody that you're already friends with that maybe has been very close to you for a long time, and you're gonna start to see them in a different light. Or it could be that your friends are gonna introduce you to someone that you can have a balanced partnership with, that you can literally tie the knot with. And you're gonna have that balance, the duality here. The divine feminine and the divine masculine are both portrayed here, the shadow self and the side of ourselves that we show to the light, because there's a dove and a raven. And you're gonna have a committed relationship where you are truly, you know, the embodiment of love. Love for self and unconditional love for others, because you're going to be able to find that complete balance and partnership. You are going to have a reconciliation with yourself and your own needs, and you're going to have boundaries. And through that, you guys are going to work together to find the answers to how you can fulfill your heart's desire. So whether that is having a family or whether that is something else, you're going to find complete balance. There's an infinity symbol here. And there's all these images of moons and suns. Again, all that energy of the balancing of female and male energies. There's definitely somebody coming into your life that you're going to have this beautiful partnership with. Now, it's possible that you're going to reconcile with somebody that you knew from the past, that you possibly had a falling out with, or you drifted away from. Like, this could be you reconnecting with a friend from the past. It doesn't necessarily have to be that there was a separation because there was something negative. It could just be like you knew each other in college and they went back to wherever they were from and you went back to where you're from and you guys just lost touch, you know? Like, and you're gonna reconcile, you're gonna come back together. There could potentially have been some sort of disagreement. Maybe you were just in different paths. Like, maybe you did date. And because reconcile does mean to like come together and meet in the middle and see eye to eye. So maybe you were ready to travel and live your best life and, like, you know, explore the world, and they were ready to settle down. And now you're coming back together and you're going to have that balance. Like, this could easily be the energy of like high school sweethearts or like college sweethearts that break up and then you go off and have separate families. And then those relationships don't work and you come back together and you find each other through like social media. That could easily happen. But you are going to be in complete balance with where you were meant to be as far as your life plan goes, and you're going to have everything that you want. So let's see where your karmic is going to be in 5 years. Where is the karmic going to be for pile number 3 in 5 years? Like you only need one card. Closure. They're going to have closure, which is the same energy of the 8 of Cups. I think they're going to have closure from the past. I think to a certain degree, they're sort of pining over you. They might potentially be in a place where they're continually trying to reconnect with you, and they are going to have closure not only with and make peace with the end of your relationship, but have closure with their own toxic traits. They're going to have closure with the past, all the things that are keeping them in this lower vibrational energy. Now, I do have to mention that it is possible that for some of you, the reconciliation will be with this karmic. Like, there's a possibility that they're not a karmic and that this is more of a twin flame union. I do not like to necessarily push the idea of a twin flame union, because I do feel like the hallmarks of a twin flame union can also mirror what a toxic relationship looks like. And I need you to know that if this person hasn't actively gone and done all of the work, I mean, really done the legwork, they're truly a changed person, then you need to go your own way and allow yourself to connect with another person. But for some of you, you might drift away from the karmic. They do their healing, they find closure, they find optimism, they truly heal, and you reconcile. But that does not necessarily mean that you reconcile romantically. It could just be that they come back into your life as a friend, and you have love with another person. So I'm going to get some final advice for you guys about what you need to know about this situation and what the next 5 years holds for you. So let's find out. Okay, so you got love charm. You got love charm, attracted lover, soulmate, or life partner. So for the majority of you, it's definitely not a reconciliation with this person, because this card would never come out if you were meant to reconnect with that person. I mean, I have to mention it because it is possible for some of you, but it's like 99.9% of you are going to align with a totally new person. And what you need to do is start scripting what that looks like in your life. Really get like honest with yourself about what you want. Write it all down. Manifest what you want. Don't just look at the physical characteristics or, you know, the material characteristics, like they're a good provider or they have a home. Those are all important. Write that stuff down. But also write down how they make you feel, how they treat you, how they treat others. You know, what other relationships do they have? You know, what kind of hobbies do they have? Like, it has to be a multi-layered, you know, picture of what your perfect partner is. That's what this love charm is asking you to do, to start scripting out what you want. Not only will it help the universe bring you the perfect person sooner, but it also gives you a framework so that you can sort of compare it against the people that you meet until you get into the energy where you're in complete authority of your own life and you won't settle for anything less than what you deserve. So let's find out what advice Spirit has for your karmic. Yeah. Labyrinth. Transition to a higher level of being. Raising your energetic vibration. Enlightenment. The advice for your karmic is that they need to find their way out of the labyrinth, out of the maze. They need to find a new path forward, because otherwise they're just going to be stumbling around in the darkness and fearful of their life because they're trapped in there with the Minotaur, you know? So that's a journey that they need to go on. It's very clear that they have to go on that journey on their own. You won't be able to walk that path with them. The Eight of Cups is talking about a solitary journey away from what you've already built. And that is what's going to give them the closure. So if you ever want this to be a balanced relationship with this exact individual, you have to release them. You have to let them go so they can heal, even if they don't want you to. You have to, so that you can heal and they will heal, and ultimately you both will be in a better place, whether you're together or whether you're with this other love partner that can bring you this beautiful family and unconditional love. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, pile number 3. If you did, if you could hit the thumbs up, that would be such a help to me. And if you know someone who might be interested in this reading, you could always share it with them. That would be amazing. And if you haven't joined our little family here yet, please subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you in the next reading. And I also do private readings. You can check out my services and all my booking information on my website, odessamall.com. I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you soon. Take care.